My thoughts on the Paul brothers, where do I start? I haven't really got a problem with Logan Paul. You know, he's what he is. I feel like he's more level-headed. You know, he doesn't talk as much shit as Jake. So I haven't really got a problem with Logan, but Jake is very in the clouds. You know, the fact that he thinks that he can fight me and win, you know, for these past years is just crazy. I'm not really interested in anything that he does. If he wants to fight, he knows where I am. And that's it. I'll tend to Paul Bamba on November 13th, and then if he wants to do anything about it, let's get it done and dusted, because it's been going on way too long.
And how likely is that to actually happen one day?
I am here and I'm ready, honestly. Like, just call me. Just call me, honestly. My American stuff still hasn't been sorted out. So if he wants to fight, come over here and he can fight me the day after I fight Paul Bamba. I know he fights, no problem. Dubai, not a problem. UK, not a problem. Canada, I think's all right. Basically, anywhere he wants, he can have it. Not a problem. I'll all come to America if that gets sorted out in time. Not a problem.
And which one of them would you say is better as a boxer?
I would say Jake's better as a boxer purely because, you know, Logan, he's only had a few fights, hasn't he? I think Jake's put a bit more time in training-wise. He's got the right, he's got some right people around him. He's got people who actually have been in the game before around him. So I think Jake just about edges it.
Do they wind you up?
Not really. What they say goes in and out of my head. You know, I don't think anything of what they say. I know they're just trying to sell fights and, you know, get the name out there and get some content and stuff like that. So, you know, that's all their game really is. But I'm not interested. Listen, it's working for them. You know, they've got to sell a fight. They've got to make a name for themselves. Well, they've already made a name for themselves, but by doing that. So I know what the game is. You know, when the cameras are on, they're one person, and when the cameras are off, they're a different. So, you know, it is what it is.
Do you think they wind your dad up?
Definitely not, honestly. My dad just disregards them. Like, if I'm talking or showing him something on him, he'd just be like, oh, right, yeah, and walk off. Like, he's not interested one bit.
Do you think people like the Pauls and KSI are good for boxing?
Are they good for boxing? I mean, they've brought different eyes to the sport, for sure. They're getting people to tune in that might not have tuned in before. So yeah, you know, why not? Of course they're good for boxing. You know, it's bringing new eyes to the sport. It's generating more money for the sport. So yeah, why not?
So what would happen if you fought KSI?
KSI, honestly, KSI couldn't take the jab. KSI is worse than Jake Paul, so I'm not really thinking about it. I mean, if he wants to fight me, I mean, he might as well just throw money at me, because that's money for doing nothing. So if he wants to fight, again, you know where I am, so that's a very easy fight to make, because he's from London, I'm from Manchester, so if he wants to get that on, that's not a problem. Honestly, I'm ready. Listen, Dubai's even better for me, because I'm already there then. I can cash in on the fights, and I can have an all day without moving.
How likely could it be that you'd fight KSI one day?
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm ready, and I'll take all these fights. You know, these fights that you're mentioning, they're not, you know, think about me fights. If you say the contract's there, do you want to fight KSI? Signed. Do you want to fight Jake Paul? Signed. Because I'm in this game to win world titles. You know, that's my goal. I've said that ever since I've had my first professional fight, before I got involved in any of this stuff. You know, and that is my goal. So if I'm interested in winning world titles, I'm not going to be bothered about KSI and Jake Paul. Definitely not. And if I am, I ain't going to be getting any world titles anytime soon.
Which of KSI's brothers do you think's better, him or Deji?
Oh, God. God. I shouldn't even be saying this. They're both on par with each other. They're both useless, to be honest. They're both useless. Like, I'm telling you now, I can't tell you how bad they are. I think my mother would knock Deji out in a round. And I'm just putting it out there. And I think my grandfather, who's pushing 80, would chin KSI in a round. They're both really bad.
Does KSI wind you up?
No, none of them wind me up, because they are I don't know, they're entertainers, aren't they? They're actors. When the camera goes on, they're just trying to get a bit of content and footage for their Instagrams. They want to call everyone out, you know, get some hype going. So you know what the intention is behind it. So if I was going to let that wind me up, it's pretty stupid. So everybody tune in, buy pay-per-view on DAZN November 13th, because you're going to see a big dirty knockout. I ain't coming over there to win on points. I'm there to do a demolition job on Paul Bamba, and I will see everyone November 13th.